On today's episode of Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Oh, I enjoyed that actually. Oh, now my burp has actually caused my camera to go back. Now, ever since 2022, when Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, has that been a fruitful transition for David Zaslav and co? Well, let's have a look at the facts, folks. Warner Brothers' main box office disappointments of 2022 were Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore, and Black Adam. While not explicitly labeled as fails, but clearly you have labeled them as fails here, they were underperformers, again that's a failure, that struggled at the box office, with Fantastic Beasts appearing to have lost its momentum with the audience, and Black Adam being very costly and a major disappointment to DC's new leadership. And we could say that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson sabotaged that. And by the way, girls, you're looking mighty, mighty fine. But in case you don't know, folks, what's actually going on at the moment, Paramount, a not-so-dumb company, are putting in a bid with Skydance to buy out Warner Brothers. Will this happen? What does this mean going forward for James Gunn? Because at this stage, I'm getting James Gunn fatigue, as we all are. It's great to report on the guy, but honestly, when I get into this video today, you'll understand why I think, and a couple of videos by John Campier has actually talked about this, if Skydance bid for Warner Brothers is successful, is James Gunn out of a job? I would say, for now, no. So from Reuters, Paramount Skydance preparing bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, source says, and again, various journalists have contributed to this article. It's pretty insane, actually.
A massive acquisition could be hitting Hollywood very soon, according to the Wall Street Journal, who's reporting Paramount Skydance is preparing a majority.
Wait a minute, look at this dude. He's AI. This is an AI presenter. YouTube, are you tinkering with NBC's footage without their consent, you naughty, naughty boys and girls, you? The audacious bid, coming just weeks after Skydance bought Paramount Global for $8.4 billion, would unite some of the best-known entertainment brands under a single corporate shingle. I thought I was misreading that for a second. Bringing together DC superheroes like Superman, Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants, science fiction franchises like The Matrix, Star Trek, and two major newsworks, CBS and CNN. Are you kidding me? I would actually get rid of the ilk at CNN after recent events in America this week and start afresh. This deal is the Hollywood equivalent of a sequel no one expected, but everyone sort of saw coming, said eMarker analyst Jeremy Goldman. No offer has been submitted and the plans could still fall apart, the Wall Street Journal reported. Still, shares of Warner Brothers Discovery surged as much as 30% after the news, while Paramount jumped 15%. Paramount and WB declined to comment on the report. Well, they can't, because any leaks or discussions could actually jeopardize the whole of this deal. For WBD shareholders, a cash-rich exit is far more appealing than waiting around for, and I love this part here, because David Zaslav, the guy who currently heads Warner Brothers Discovery, isn't a magician, unlike Randy Pitchford from Gearbox. And Borderlands 4 is coming out very soon.
Go ahead. 1, 2,
you
3,
can clearly
4,
see they're all
5, 6, 7.
So unfortunately for Zaslav, who we thought was going to be a bit of a savior for Warner Brothers, has turned out to be more of a failure at this stage. And I wonder if he will keep his job. I wonder if David Zaslav will actually get a golden parachute deal the same way Bobby Kotick did with Microsoft buying out Activision. So I am rather curious about that. And again, adding fuel to the fire, will James Gunn keep his job with WB, with Peter Safran, if the bid from Paramount Skydance is successful? Well, The reason why I said at the beginning of this video that it might be for the time being, because yeah, Mr. Gunn has actually just set up his whole DC universe with Peter Safran. We've had a fairly successful Superman film. Look, it just cracked $600 million worldwide at the box office. Again, the SVOD sales doesn't really mean much because you should be concentrating on the box office cinemas, right, folks? I think SVODs don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. That's like the fallout after the cinema, right? So in regards to that, yes, it just creeped through. It struggled, if you asked me. I think Formula One gave it a real run for its money, and that was made on a far less budget from what I can remember. Have I watched Peacemaker season 2? Nope, I don't want to. After what I've heard about the actual lead character having a bisexual orgy, I just decided I'm not into this. I think James Gunn is off his rocker at the moment.
We doing it up in style.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
Don't listen to those boos.
And if I were David Ellison, the guy who was the main head honcho for Paramount Skydance, I would look at that and think, do you know what, bro? This is not what we want in entertainment anymore. We want to get back to basics, to entertain people, to get money in our pockets and the whole 9 yards. But just going back to this article here, folks, from comicbookmovie.com, rumor DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn branded annoying on WB lot due to social media activity. And this guy can't stay off X. He's on there constantly. Instead of actually James just posting random shit like you normally do, and I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute, hitting back at the James Gunn denial that Robin will appear in Batman Part 2, a scoop has claimed that the flamboyant filmmaker's social media activity has been branded annoying by WB employees. And I think there's actually a grain of truth in that. The film industry is a bitchy industry. It's lots of backstabbing, everything going around in there. And when you compare it to NFL, I'm watching All or Nothing on Amazon at the moment, narrated by the dreamy voiced John Hamm and the Arizona Cardinals. The actual coaches that run that team, they are fantastic. Those are the kind of guys I like to see in those powerful positions, people who keep their crew in check. And clearly, it seems that Warner Brothers don't know how to do that with James Gunn, who, pardon the pun, is a bit of a loose cannon right now. So this is what I talked about a couple of days ago, folks, when James Gunn made this post regarding a sequel to Superman. This is going to be The Man of Tomorrow, and it's dropping on cinemas in 2027. Again, the artwork is by DC President Jim Lee. Yeah, here's a better look of it. Man of Tomorrow, July 9, 2027. This will be a year after Supergirl gets released, so that'll be an interesting turn of events if it all happens. Simu Liu giving this a like as if he's going to be in the movie. And again, Man of Tomorrow is actually more about Lex Luthor than Clark Kent, which is why Luthor takes more of a prominent place in the picture right here. Obviously, Jim Lee was told to do this. Again, he's not lost his touch when it comes to artwork, but I think Jim Lee doesn't care these days. He's just been told what to do. Like Gretchen Felker Martin, that ridiculous writer from the failed Jason Todd Red Hood comic book run, right? Who got fired recently for saying awful things about Charlie Kirk. Again, Jim Lee has not even made a statement about that. He's distancing himself away from it, which is, I guess it serves him right in some ways. And of course, folks, when Microsoft bought Bethesda back in 2021, I think it was, or 2020, right, for very paltry sum of money, I think it was $7.5 billion, they've already laid off 9,000 people from that merger. So much for having the people at Bethesda behind the id Tech engine, Doom, right? And then meeting up with the guys from the Coalition who made Gears of War, making a brand new IP, incorporating elements of those great titles. Are we going to get that? No, because Microsoft has fully embraced DEI and ESG crap, which is not leaving their company anytime soon. Even under the new government of America, they still haven't eradicated all of that programming yet. It's going to be a while before that happens, and that's why I say that when Paramount Skydance or Skydance Paramount, if their bid is successful to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, yes, there's a wealth of potential possibilities there. But I will say, just refrain from getting too excited about anything. When David Zaslav came on board with Warner Brothers Discovery, we thought it was going to be a change for good. It's turned out to be not the complete opposite. And this is the man himself, David Ellison. His father is Larry Ellison. He's got very close ties to President 47 at the moment. Here's a better picture of him right there. That's what you need, a young dude like him, who knows what he's doing, who doesn't actually speak much about what's going on, about what he hates on WB. Can you imagine David Ellison sat in a board meeting at Skydance Paramount? They're watching various examples, a slideshow, if you like, of WB's content in the last 3 years alone. They'll probably be thinking, bro, we got to get rid of this shit. And I think that's what's going to happen.
The number one thing we need to do is obviously win on content. And that means being the number one destination for the most talented artists and filmmakers in the world, number one destination for the most important sports rights.
It's a doable deal. Larry Ellison, 81, that's the father of David Ellison, has a 41% stake in cloud giant Oracle, which has propelled him number 2 on the global billionaires list. Saw his fortune surge earlier this year by close to $100 billion. On Thursday, he was worth more than $360 billion, according to Forbes. Good grief, I would love to be in that man's pockets right now, wouldn't you? But let's just carry on with this, folks, because again, with the layoffs at Microsoft this year alone, I think the same thing is going to happen with people at Warner Brothers. Because when you think about it, if you're bringing in a new crew, right, you want to shape things up. I've worked for American companies before where these things are known to take place. They always try to reassure you that, hey, your job is going to be fine. But then after a couple of months, they want to bring in changes, right? They don't necessarily want to do it straight away. It's a bit of a waiting game. And then you see how things are planning out. Obviously, I know Skydance aren't stupid, right? They're making preparations already if their bid is successful and they manage to buy Warner Brothers and its incredible catalog of IPs. Warner Brothers, by the way, they were more interested in making Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League a completely wokeified, shitty game. So bad that even when they give it away for free, nobody wants to play it on Steam. I mean, what does that tell you? And WB, for God's sake, do not start a brand new Arkham Asylum or Arkham series of games with Batman. We know you've actually mocked that character and calling him a fascist in the Blue Beetle movie.
Like, look at this. It's like Batman stuff, but like if he had ADHD or something.
Batman's a fascist. The Blue Beetle. He had a sense of humor.
Paramount, for the most part so far, has removed any kind of ideological political crap from their content. Tulsa King season 3 is coming back soon with Sly Stallone, which I cannot wait for. It's going to have Frank Grillo again and Samuel L. Jackson hopefully doing some acting for a change, and I can't wait to see. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this story, folks. Thought I'd bring this for you today. And James Gunn, if I were you, dude, stop posting on social media too much. Just get your eyes down and start making movies. And for God's sake, don't bring this dude to do the Superman sequel. Get somebody else who knows what they're doing. But on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, you should definitely return for the next video. Appearing to have lost its audience and momentum, and Black Adam being a costly Right, let's do that again.
Like and subscribe, or get your nuts Krogan crushed with Kung Fu Hot Dog.